Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I want to ask you something right now. When was the last time you went to the grocery store and thought, wow, prices are actually going down? Never, right? Because the truth is, food prices have been going up every single year, and it's not slowing down. In fact, experts are saying 2026 could be one of the worst years for food inflation we have ever seen. Now, I'm not here to stress you out. I'm really not. But I am here to help you do something smart, something practical, before things get harder. Because here's what I've learned. The best time to prepare is before the problem hits, not during, not after. So today, I'm going to show you the 9 crops I am personally planting right now in my own garden to protect my family from rising food prices. These are not random plants. Every single one on this list was chosen for a specific reason. And by the end of this video, you're going to have a clear, simple plan you can start this week. Let's go. Before we get to the crops, let me quickly explain what's happening, because once you understand this, you'll realize why growing your own food is one of the smartest decisions you can make right now. First, fuel costs are higher. When fuel costs go up, the cost of transporting food goes up too. That gets passed directly to you at the checkout. Second, supply chain problems are still happening. We saw it during COVID. We're still feeling it today. Third, bad weather events are becoming more common. Droughts, floods, late frosts, these destroy crops. And when crops are destroyed, prices go up. Fourth, inflation. The dollar doesn't go as far as it used to, so even if the actual amount of food stays the same, you're paying more for it. Put all of this together, and food prices in 2026 and beyond are only going one direction: up. So what do smart people do? They grow their own. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. I don't have a big yard, or I've never grown food before, or I don't have time for this. I hear you, and I promise the crops I'm going to show you today are simple. You don't need a farm. You don't need experience. You just need to start somewhere. Okay, let's talk about the 9 crops. All right, number 1 on my list is garlic. And I know, garlic sounds boring, but stay with me here, because the numbers on garlic are actually incredible. Go to any grocery store right now and look at the garlic. A small bag, maybe 3 or 4 bulbs, can cost anywhere from $3 to $6. Organic garlic, even more. And most of that garlic traveled thousands of miles to get to your store. It came from China, Mexico, or South America. But here's the amazing thing about garlic. It is one of the easiest crops to grow at home, and the return on investment is unlike almost anything else in the garden. Here's how it works. You take 1 single clove of garlic, 1 clove, not a whole bulb, just 1 piece, and you plant it in the ground. A few months later, that 1 clove becomes a full bulb with 8 to 10 cloves inside. So if you plant 30 cloves, you harvest 30 bulbs. And each of those bulbs has 8 to 10 cloves. That's a massive return for almost 0 effort. Garlic is also a crop that stores for a very long time. If you keep it in a cool, dry place, a garage, a basement, even a pantry, garlic can last for 10 to 12 months. That means you plant once, harvest once, and have garlic for the entire year without spending a single dollar at the store. You plant garlic in the fall, usually October or November, and you harvest it the following summer, usually June or July. So it's a slow crop, but it's worth every bit of the wait. One more thing I want to say about homegrown garlic: the flavor, oh my goodness. If you have only ever eaten store-bought garlic, you are missing out. Homegrown garlic is stronger, richer, and more complex in flavor. Once you grow your own, you will never want to go back to the store stuff. So garlic is number 1 on my list. It's easy, it's valuable, it stores forever, and it tastes amazing. Plant it this fall, and you will thank yourself next summer. Number 2 is sweet potatoes, and this one might surprise you. When most people think about sweet potatoes, they think about Thanksgiving dinner or a side dish. But I think about sweet potatoes completely differently. I think about them as one of the most powerful survival crops you can grow. Here's why. Sweet potatoes are incredibly calorie dense. They are filling, nutritious, and satisfying. They have vitamins, minerals, and fiber, and they taste great in so many different ways. Roasted, mashed, in soup, baked. They are an incredibly versatile food. Now let's talk about the numbers. A single sweet potato plant can produce 5 to 8 pounds of food. Just one plant. If you grow 10 plants and 10 plants don't take up that much space, you could be harvesting 50 to 80 pounds of food. At the store, organic sweet potatoes cost $2 to $4 per pound. So 80 pounds of sweet potatoes is worth $160 to $320 at retail prices from 10 plants. Think about that. Sweet potatoes also grow from what are called slips. A slip is just a small sprout that you grow from an existing sweet potato. You can buy slips from a garden center, or you can make your own at home by putting a sweet potato in water and letting it sprout. It's actually really fun to watch. Once you grow sweet potatoes once, you can save some of your harvest to make slips for next year. That means your next crop is basically free. One more thing, sweet potatoes are incredibly drought resistant. Once they get established in the ground, they don't need a lot of water. They're tough plants. They can handle heat. They can handle some neglect, and they will still produce a good harvest. If I could only grow one crop for pure food security, sweet potatoes would be near the top of my list. Hey, they are that good. Number 3 is dried beans. And I want to be really honest with you. This might be the single most important crop on this entire list. I'm serious. Here's the thing about dried beans that most people don't realize. They are not just food. They're long-term food storage. Dried beans kept properly in a sealed container can last for 25 to 30 years. Let me say that again. 25 to 30 years. That means the dried beans you grow this summer could still be feeding your family decades from now. No other crop on this list comes close to that kind of shelf life. And growing dried beans is incredibly simple. You plant a bean seed in warm soil. The plant grows, it produces bean pods. You let those pods dry completely on the plant, and then you harvest them and shell them. The dried beans inside go into a mason jar, and they're done, ready to store. Black beans, pinto beans, kidney beans, navy beans, all of these work great and are easy to grow at home. Now, let's talk yield. A single 10-foot row of bean plants can produce several pounds of dried beans. And if you have even a modest garden space, you can grow enough to make a real difference in your food budget. Dried beans are also extremely nutritious. They are high in protein, fiber, iron, and complex carbohydrates. They are one of the most complete plant foods you can eat. And when food prices are high, having a pantry full of homegrown dried beans means you are never without a healthy, filling meal. I grow at least 2 or 3 varieties every year. It's one of those crops where once you start, you just keep doing it every year because it's so easy and the reward is so real. All right, number 4, tomatoes. Now I know everybody grows tomatoes. Okay, most people are not getting the most out of them. So let me explain how I think about tomatoes. Organic tomatoes at the grocery store cost anywhere from $3 to $6 per pound right now. And that price is going up. Tomatoes are one of those crops where the price difference between store-bought and homegrown is absolutely massive. The key to getting the most out of your tomato plants is growing the right type of tomato. There are 2 main categories, determinate and indeterminate. Determinate tomatoes produce one big crop and then they're done. Indeterminate tomatoes keep producing all season long from summer until the first frost kills them. For the best value and the biggest harvest, I always grow indeterminate varieties. Things like Brandywine, Cherokee Purple, Sun Gold cherry tomatoes, or a good Roma for sauce. These plants are workhorses. One healthy, indeterminate tomato plant can give you 20 to 30 pounds of tomatoes over the course of a season. Think about that. 30 pounds at $4 per pound is $120 worth of organic tomatoes from a single plant. And if you grow 5 or 6 plants, you have more tomatoes than you can eat fresh, which means you can preserve them. canning tomatoes, making tomato sauce, drying tomatoes. These are all ways to take your summer harvest and stretch it through the entire year. A few jars of homemade tomato sauce in the winter, when fresh tomatoes are $5 per pound at the store, feels like absolute gold. Tomatoes need full sun, at least 6 to 8 hours a day. They like warm weather, and they respond really well to consistent watering. Take care of them, and they will take care of you. Number 5 is zucchini. And if you have ever grown zucchini before, you already know what I'm about to say. Zucchini is the most productive vegetable I've ever grown, period. One single zucchini plant, one plant can produce 6 to 10 pounds of zucchini per week during its peak growing season. Every week, for months. At the store, zucchini costs about $2 to $3 per pound. So one plant is producing $15 to $30 worth of food every single week. Over a full season, that's hundreds of dollars worth of food from one plant that costs you maybe 50 cents as a seed. The numbers are almost unbelievable. But if you grow it, you will see it's real. Zucchini is also one of the fastest crops you can grow. From seed to first harvest is about 50 days. That's less than 2 months. So even if you're a little late starting your garden this year, zucchini can still produce a huge harvest before the season ends. It's also one of the most beginner-friendly vegetables. It doesn't need a lot of special care. Plant it, water it regularly, make sure it gets good sun, and it will basically grow itself. The only challenge with zucchini, and this is a real challenge, is that it produces so much food that you end up giving bags of it away to neighbors and friends, which is actually a wonderful problem to have. You can eat zucchini in so many ways: grilled, sautéed, in soups, in bread, spiralized as a pasta substitute, stuffed, and baked. And you can also freeze it to use later in the year. If you are a beginner gardener and you want to grow something that will make you feel like a total success, grow zucchini. It will not let you down. Number 6 is a 2-for-1 Kale and Swiss Chard. I'm putting these together because they work in exactly the same way, and they have one quality that makes them incredibly valuable in a food budget garden. They are what gardeners call cut and come again crops. Here's what that means. You don't pull up the whole plant when you harvest. Instead, you just cut the outer leaves, the big mature ones around the outside, and leave the center of the plant alone. And then the plant just keeps growing. It puts out new leaves from the center. And a week or two later, you can harvest again, over and over, from the same plant for 6 months or more. One planting of kale or Swiss chard in early spring can give you fresh greens from April all the way through October. And in mild climates, they can survive light frosts and keep going even longer. At the store, a bunch of organic kale costs $3 to $5. Swiss chard is similar. If you're buying that every week, that's $150 to $250 per year on just those two vegetables. Homegrown. The seeds cost almost nothing. Both kale and Swiss chard are also extremely nutritious. They are among the most nutrient-dense vegetables you can eat, loaded with vitamins A, C, and K, plus iron, calcium, and antioxidants. They grow best in cooler weather. Early spring and fall are perfect. They can handle light frost, which means you can keep harvesting long after most other crops have finished. If you want fresh, healthy greens from your garden for as many months as possible, kale and Swiss chard are your answer. Number 7 is potatoes, the original survival crop. The crop that has fed more people throughout history than almost anything else. And the numbers on potatoes are genuinely amazing. Here's the basic math. If you plant 10 pounds of seed potatoes, you can expect to harvest around 100 pounds of potatoes. That is a 10 times return on what you put in the ground. 100 pounds of potatoes from a relatively small garden space. And potatoes are real, filling calorie-dense food. They're not a light snack. A meal with potatoes is a meal. At the store, even basic russet potatoes cost $1 to $2 per pound. So 100 pounds of homegrown potatoes is worth $100 to $200 at retail prices. Grow 2 or 3 varieties, and you're looking at an enormous amount of food for a very small investment. Potatoes also store really well. Keep them in a cool, dark, well-ventilated space, a basement, a root cellar, or even a dark corner of your garage, and they can last for 3 to 6 months. So your summer harvest feeds you well into winter. Growing potatoes is also very flexible. You don't need a big in-ground garden. You can grow them in raised beds, in large containers, or in potato grow bags. Some people even grow them in old trash cans with holes drilled in the bottom. The method doesn't matter much. Potatoes are forgiving and adaptable. Plant them in early spring. Hill up the soil around them as they grow, and harvest in late summer or fall when the plants die back. It's a satisfying crop. There's something really magical about digging into the soil and pulling out a big pile of potatoes that weren't there before. Potatoes are calorie, they're filling, they're affordable to grow, and they store well. They belong in every food security garden. Number 8. Hot peppers. Now this one is for the people who want to grow something with real value per square foot. Hot peppers, especially specialty varieties, are expensive at the store. Dried chili peppers, smoked paprika, hot pepper flakes, specialty pepper blends. You pay a lot for these at the grocery store or spice shop. And yet they are incredibly easy to grow at home. One hot pepper plant can produce literally hundreds of peppers over the course of a growing season. And the beautiful thing about hot peppers is that they are incredibly easy to preserve. You just dry them. You can string them together and hang them in a warm, dry place, or lay them out on a screen, or use a dehydrator if you have one. Dried peppers last for a year or more in a sealed jar, and the flavor actually intensifies when they dry. So you grow them in summer, dry them in fall, and have flavorful homegrown spices all through winter and spring. Hot peppers also have real health benefits. Capsaicin, the compound that makes peppers hot, has been shown to support circulation, reduce inflammation, and even help with pain relief. So you're not just growing flavor, you're growing medicine. I grow several varieties every year. Galapagos for fresh eating and pickling. Cayenne peppers for drying and making cayenne powder. A few specialty varieties for fun and for gifting. One more thing, dried homegrown peppers make incredible gifts. Put them in a little jar with a handwritten label, and suddenly you have a thoughtful, homemade present that costs almost nothing to produce. Hot peppers are easy, productive, valuable, and a lot of fun to grow. And our final crop, number 9, is sunflowers. And yes, I know what you might be thinking. Sunflowers. Those are decorations, not food. But I want to change the way you think about sunflowers, because they are actually one of the hardest working plants you can put in your garden. Let's start with the obvious, sunflower seeds. A single large sunflower head can produce 1,000 to 2,000 seeds. These seeds are packed with healthy fats, protein, vitamin E, and magnesium. They're a real, nutritious food. And at the store, a bag of sunflower seeds or sunflower seed butter is not cheap. Grow the large varieties like mammoth sunflowers and let the heads dry completely on the stalk before you harvest them. Then just rub the seeds off the head and you have a huge supply of healthy, homegrown snack food. But here's the thing that makes sunflowers even more valuable. They support your whole garden. Sunflowers attract bees, butterflies, and other pollinators. And when you have more pollinators in your garden, ALL of your other crops produce better. Your tomatoes set more fruit. Your beans produce more pods. Your squash grows bigger. Sunflowers are like a free productivity booster for everything else around them. They're also incredibly easy to grow. Plant them in a sunny spot, water them occasionally, and they basically take care of themselves. They grow fast, they're dramatic and beautiful, and kids absolutely love them. Sunflowers are the perfect combination: food, beauty, and function, all in one plant. All right, we've gone through all 9 crops. Let me quickly recap the 3 rules I use to choose every single one of them. Rule number 1, high store price. Every crop on this list is expensive at the grocery store. Growing them at home saves you real money. Rule number 2, high yield. Every crop on this list produces a lot of food for the space you give it. You get a big return on a small investment. Rule number 3, stores well. Every crop on this list can be preserved, dried, canned, or stored for months or longer, so your harvest doesn't go to waste. Now you don't have to grow all 9. That might feel overwhelming if you're just starting out. My advice? Pick 2 or 3 that excite you, that work for your climate, and that your family will actually eat. Start there. The most important thing is that you start. A small garden this year is better than a perfect garden you never plant. Okay, friends, that is the full list. 9 crops, all chosen for a real reason. All practical and doable for normal people with normal yards and normal budgets. I hope this video gave you real information you can actually use. Not just fear, not just doom, but a genuine plan. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me which one of these 9 crops are you going to plant first. I genuinely read the comments and I would love to know. If this video helped you, please hit the like button. It really does make a big difference in helping more people find this content. And if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe and hit the bell. Because next week, I'm going to show you 7 fruit trees that produce food in their very first year. Not 5 years. Not 10 years. Year 1, it's going to be a really good video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and I will see you in the next one.